need to make sure you have a Google account. If you already have one, make sure you go ahead and get signed in. If you don't have one, right when you click the sign in, you can go ahead and create an account. I'm going to go ahead and get signed into mine now. Let's talk about a few ways to create your Google Docs and keep them organized right away when you're creating them. If you're logged in, if you go up to the top to the Google Apps, this waffle looking thing, you can open your Google Docs from right here. If you don't see this here, you can drag this around. Maybe it's a little down below here, but you can drag it to where you would like. If I go ahead and click on this, it will bring me to the Google Docs page where I can create a blank document or access any of the templates that they have, which are great for saving a lot of time when they're already set up. You just have to add what words you want in there. You're also going to see the recent documents this way as well. If I go to the left here, the main menu, I can jump around from docs, sheets, slides, and forms. I'm going to have videos on all of these too as well. And I can access Google Drive. I can also go back up to the waffle up here and access Google Drive this way. It'll get me to the same place. How I like to start my Google Docs to keep things organized, and I'm just in my drive here, I go ahead and create folders. So I can go new here or new here. If I create a folder and I call this demo. And once this is created, I can go inside this folder and I can create my Google Docs in here. I could create new Google Docs, or I can right click Google Docs, and you can see also I can go from blank template or blank document or template, or just click here and it's going to open this up. So if I give this a name up here, and this is where you're going to title it, and I'm just going to call this demo, it's saved to Drive. If I go back to my Google Drive, now it's saved in here. So I'm helping my files stay organized inside folders already. The last way that I want to show you, a quick way to start a new document, and if I go to a new tab, you can just go up to the bar up here and start typing doc.new. If you're logged in, it's going to create a new document just like that. So these are some ways you can get started with creating a blank document. I've created another folder here. I want to show you a few other ways you can stay organized with Google Docs. Let's go ahead and open up this demo doc that we already created, and I want you to take a look at the top of the screen. I showed you how we named this, but we have some options to star, and as soon as I star this, what I can do now is if I go over to my Google Drive, notice that we have starred. And now since I starred it, that's going to show up here. So if you have important documents, just quickly add a star to it. And when you click it, it will be all lined up here, all the starred ones. Another way you can stay organized is if I click this right here, move, I can go ahead and move this to different places. So if I click on my drive, I can already see that there's a folder here called practice. So if it was, if you're digging through your drive, you could just put it into the general drive, or if I double click, it brings me to practice here. But if I go into practice, I can click move, and now it just moved from demo to practice. So if I go back to Google Drive here, and I'm going to go to my drive, it was in demo before, but if I go to practice, you're going to see it here, and it's also start. I'm going to go ahead and open up this demo document that I've already created and talk about some of the different view options. Notice I have a ruler across the top, and I like having my ruler on, and we'll get into some things we can do with that later. But if I go to view, if you don't want it or it's not showing, just click it and you'll notice how it disappears or reappears. We have a few other layouts here. We can turn on the show equation bar, so if you're inserting equations, and we also have the non-printing characters, which shows me if I hit enter a few times, these don't show up in print, but it will show me where there's different breaks and different things inside the document. So you can quickly turn those on or off. We also have different modes that we can work in. So we can work in editing, and that's what I'll be working in today. Suggesting your edits just become suggestions. You're not really editing, you're just making suggestions on it. And then there's the viewing, read, or final print document. You can also get to this over here in where you can just simply click on any of these. Let's go ahead and add some text we can do some formatting with. So when we go ahead and select any of this, just like many other word processors, Google Docs works similar. I can go and highlight and drag my mouse over and pick a word, and then if I wanted to, let's say, change the font, I can quickly do that. Notice if you want more font selection, you can go to more fonts up here and take a look through this way as well. I have this highlighted, I can increase this size. Now there's the other quick formats we can do, but when we're selecting, if I click once, notice that it's inside Marvel. Double click will select Marvel, the word. Triple click will select the line. So if I wanted superheroes, double click. Now I can go say, let's say go and italicize, underline, and change the color of the font. So if I wanted it this orange, we can make those quick changes. Highlighting, so if I was going to highlight this word, you can see the difference between changing the font or highlighting. You can also center very quickly. If I wanted to center this line, I could go and center a line up top here. You can notice that I could write a line also or put it back to where it was before. Now, if you want to quickly clear the formatting on any of this, if I go ahead and select this line, we have this up top, clear formatting. You're also going to notice under format, clear formatting, it's the same thing. See, the same icon is there, or you could use the shortcut control and backslash together. So I'm going to click on this and notice that the line gets cleared of all that formatting. Let's say you want to add a list, like a bullet list or a number list or even a checkmark list. I want to, in this example, make a list of the different superhero abilities. And let's say this is my top level, and I want to have it numbered 1 and then have different bullets underneath. So what I can do is, if I go up to this and just hover over where it says numbered list, I can click on this. If I change my mind and wanted it to be a bullet, I can have it be a bullet. I can even have it be a checklist where people can go through and check it off. So depending on what type of list you want. I want this to be a numbered list here, and I'm going to have other points underneath each one. So if I go here and hit enter, it becomes a number 2. Well, I don't want it to be a number 2. I want this to be a subheading or sub information of this top one, the abilities. So what I can do is go increase indent, and notice it becomes an A. And if I wanted it to be a bullet instead, I can go ahead and click on this. Notice you get some different options if you click on them. So I can paste in my information. This is going to be the super strength ability. And when I hit enter, now it stays in the same with the same indent. So I can go and add another one in here by pasting it in. So I have flight and I can continue on. But let's say I want to get to a new top heading of this. If I go up to decrease indent, it pushes it back to number 2, and then I can put another that top level heading in. It will go to number 3, but this is where I increase my indent and I can add the information I want to underneath. And at any time I can go back and change these. If I wanted these to be a number, you can see how it does the A's. If I drop down, I have some different options as well. So if I click on it, notice that it's using the brackets. So take a look at all the different ways that you can add the bullets or the numbered list or even the checkmark list. Line spacing is something that you can adjust prior or even after. So here's some text I've added. As long as I'm clicked into this paragraph somewhere, I can go up to the quick line spacing button here, choose it, and you can see if I wanted this to be double, this entire paragraph becomes double. Now I could set that even prior to typing if I want to click double, and then as I go through it will have double spacing, but you can quickly adjust this to anywhere you want. You can even do custom spacing where you can input the information. So just some quick ways to make all these different adjustments even before you start or even after. I went through and deleted the information I have in this document because I want to set up a new document that will put a whole paper in, and we'll go through and format it with headings and adding a table of contents. But before we do anything, it's good to make sure you have your page set up. If I go to the file and go to page setup here, this is where you can say, do you want this in portrait or do you want this in landscape? Do you want a different paper size? I'm keeping it an 8.5 by 11, but maybe you want it on legal. You can make these changes to match what you need. We do have a page color here. I'm leaving this as white, and we can also set our margins through here. Again, I'm not changing any of this. I just want to make sure you know that this is here. Notice that we have this right here, apply to this tab. I'm going to talk about tabs in a moment, but I'll just be mainly working with the one tab here today. So I'm going to go and hit OK, and we're ready to start with our information, and I'm just going to plunk it in. I've inserted some text here that we are going to go through and format it with different headings. The first thing I want to point out is, let's say if you did want to change it to double spacing, right now it's all single space, we can select everything in a hurry. If you use the shortcut Control A, that will select everything in the document. Then you could go up to line spacing and do, let's say, double. And you can see how everything changes. Everything was selected through there. So just that shortcut can save you a lot of time rather than trying to select everything by the mouse. So the first thing that I want to show is how to use the different styles to add headings and titles. So a lot of people do this. They'll go through, and if this is their title, they'll bold it and they'll make this larger, and they'll go through to each one, the introduction, maybe each of these headings, and they'll put numbers and different things. There's a better way to do this. Now I'm going to go up to where it says normal text here. I'm going to be clicking on the line. I don't need to select it. I can just be on the line. If I drop down here, and if I know this is the title, I can click on title or apply title just like this. And notice that this becomes doubled space too. So if you didn't want that, you can go through and if I wanted this back to be single space, I could do it just like that. But let's say if you don't want to have this formatting, how do you get your own format when you click on these? I can undo this last step, or I could hit the shortcut Control Z and get used to to using the shortcuts. Will save you a lot of time. Let's say this is where I've changed it, and I'm going to just up my font size a little bit more, and I'm going to change it to just my single spacing. So let's say I want this to be 16 font for the heading, and I could change it to whatever I want. I could even change the color to this, and I will change the color so I can demo it. So let's say we want this red. Now, if I want this to be the title every time, what I can do is if I go to title, I can update title to match. So when I click this, notice now when I go to title, it becomes that one. So if I go through to any of these and click on title, that's the style that I can apply that I created. I'm going to go Control Z because I don't want that to be the title. And I'm just going to leave this for demo purposes as the red. But what do I want to be maybe the second one? So a lot of times I'll format what I want. So if this is going to be, let's say, slightly larger here, we'll keep this at 13, but just a normal color with black. I could go, and this time I'm going to go to, let's say, heading 1, and I'll apply update heading 1 match. So now this abstract could be a heading 1, or is it going to be this introduction one? So it's my choice. Depend on what I want to do there. But let's say the introduction is going to be a heading 1 as well. And also Iron Man is going to be a heading 1. So I can click on all these, get my heading 1. And now when I get down to this is going to be a subheading to this one, I can go ahead and click in here and go to heading 2, but I want to pick what I want first. So maybe this becomes just bolded like this, and I'm going to go to heading 2 and update. So now I have my heading 2. I can go through on these parts and go to my heading 2. This is going to be heading 2. And I want to point out again the shortcuts here. So Control-Alt-2 is a faster way to do this. When I get back to this one where it says Captain America here, I can drop down, and this time I'd pick Control-Alt-1 or click here. And notice on the side, as I go through and do this, I'm getting all these. These are links that will jump me to different parts of the paper. So if I click on this first one, the title, it brings me back to the title, but then I can quickly go to where I left off. I'm going to go through this document now and just finish off with those 3 different types of headings, or 2 different headings that I have, and then we'll continue from there to add our table of contents. I've added all my headings and heading 2s to this. You can see how easy it is to navigate, just jumping around to any part through the side. If you have a long paper, this really helps. The other thing I want to point out, notice this is all under tab 1. This is a new feature in Google Docs. I can add new tabs. So this kind of works just like in Google Sheets or spreadsheets where you can have multiple tabs at the bottom. If I add a tab, This is all blank here. I can create a brand new document within this document. So I could go back to tab 1 and have this information I'm working on here, but then have another one. Maybe I'm putting all my research under this one document based on this. So then I can rename these tabs as well. So if I just click rename, it's going to pull the title. The title is too long. It can only be so many characters. You can see it can only be 50. So what I can do with this is just to go and delete part of this. So if I was just going to call this ended at superheroes here, and this will work fine. The tab 2, I can name what I want. I can also go ahead and just delete this tab as well. I just wanted to point those tabs out. Now, how do we add a table of contents? I want to add a table of contents right after the abstract on the first page. I'm going to go and put a page break in. I'm going to click on this introduction here, and I'm going to go insert, break, page break. And what you'll notice, it pushes this to the next page. Introduction is at the top of the page, and I have this space right here. I want to insert my table of contents at this part here. So to do this, since I have all the different headings in, if I go to insert and I look at the very bottom, table of contents is right here. And I have some different formats. I could go plain text, dotted, or even links within it. I could click on it. I'm going to go with the dotted. So as soon as I click it, it adds it with the page numbers right into it. So this saves people a lot of time, and it's an overlooked feature in the importance of using these different headings. What happens though if the pages change? So if I go here, let's say we want to separate our different pages. I want Captain America to be on a different page here. If I go and insert a page break, and notice that we can use the shortcut Control Enter as well. I'll go and do it right here on Black Panther. I'll hit Control Enter, and that becomes a much quicker way. So I'll go down to the last one. Let's say the comparative analysis I want there. I'll go Control Enter, and now we have a lot more pages. If I go up to the very top, and I'll click on the very top, the abstract one, these haven't updated. I know I have more pages. If I click on anywhere in here, I have this refresh update table of contents. So if I added any more headings or the pages changes, I can go and update, and now these automatically update. Notice I have 6 there versus the 5 pages before. So a quick way to add a table of contents and to update it if you add any others. But let's see how we can insert things like pictures and tables into this document now. I have some spots where I want to insert some images into this. And for the first one, it's going to be right through here. So where it says figure 1, I'm just going to go and place an image in. I'm going to go up top, and you'll notice that there's an insert image. This is the same thing to go over here, insert image. Both will get you to the same place. We can upload from computers, search the web, go from Google Drive, photos, camera, or even by URL. I'll give you a couple different examples. If I want to do this by search the web, and when you search the web through Google, these are Creative Commons, but make sure you check with your licensing. I will type in Iron Man. And when that comes up, I get a bunch of different images. So if I was going to pick, let's say this one, and since my cursor was over here when I went in, that's where it should go. So I have this checked, and I go insert, and it's placed in. Now, some adjustments I can do to this right away. If I click on this image, I can size it. I could grab the handles and shrink this down. Now you can see a little bit more around it. I want to show you these different wrap text features. So right now it's on inline. If I go to wrap text, notice now how the text goes around it. And then I can choose how far the distance away from the image is by doing this. And you can even do a custom one. So if I keep it at a 1/4 inch all around this document, around this image, that's how far the text is away. If now that I've changed to the wrapping, I can actually drag this around and notice how the image goes into the text. So I can adjust this wherever I would like. I can move it around. If you're on this one, you can't drag it around that way. But you have some different options. So if I go break text, you can see how it pushes everything down. We have behind text, so the text is on top of it right now. And we have in front of text, so this is blocking the text. So you pick what will work best for your format. A lot of times I'm using this one and moving it within. We have some more options in here. You can see fixed position on page, position options. If I click on any of these, if I go to position options, notice that it does open up a lot more options to customize all these different parts of the image. I'm not going to go through all of these. I do want to say you can rotate these as well. So if I go to up here where you can grab it and I can rotate this image if you want it on a different angle. Remember, you can also go Control Z to undo. The other thing you can do is crop the image once you put it in. So if I crop the image, I can go up, and if I didn't want it the whole thing, I could go ahead and crop it to whatever ways and then hit enter, and now it's going to be cropped to it. So these are just some things that you can do with images. If I was going to go, let's say we go to Captain America here, and if we wanted to insert one here, this time upload, I could go to my image, I could upload from computer. Let's just be random. I'm going to pick this and it will upload from my computer. All these options are going to be the same. If I wanted to resize this, change the wrapping, rotate, you can quickly make those different changes to it. Now I want to do a comparative analysis and I want to add a table. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this part. To insert a table, we'll go up to Insert, and you're going to notice that there's Table right here. For my purposes, I want to, let's say, do a 4 by 4, and you can see how I can choose this just by dragging around with my mouse. Now it inserts the table just like the image where my cursor was. We can quickly add more rows if we needed to. If I go to the last cell here, just click in and I hit tab, it will automatically add another row. If we don't want a row, you'll notice even if we right click when I'm inside the table, I can delete rows, I can delete the columns, or even delete the table. So if I go delete row, it puts it back. Now the next thing I want you to point out is if I click in the table, you're going to see that there's these 3 little dots that appear, this more. And if I'm not inside the table, these aren't here, because this will get me to table options. And this is where I could format different colors of the cells and even the different border colors. So for an example, if I want this highlighted area through here to be a different color, I could go to the background color, and let's say it's going to be a light gray. Notice now as I click out of it, we have that top row one highlighted that color or colored that color. So I could also go, if I wanted a certain table, the border width change, so border color, I could choose, let's say red. It's really thin right now. I could up that, and you can go through and make those adjustments the way you want. I went through and added a bit of content in here just to show you you can quickly adjust the column widths just by quickly holding down. Same thing with the rows, you can quickly change those. If you wanted to split a cell or column, you can go ahead, right click, you'll notice that there's the split cell option here. Then we can choose on how we want to split it. So in this case, I'll do a quick example of 2 columns. It took that cell and put 2 columns in it. If I click out of it and just hover over, notice that we have this right here. This is the move table. So I can click and hold on my mouse and now move it to a different place. I'll go Control Z to put it back. So that's how you can grab it and move it around your document. Something else you might want to add is a chart. Let's add a chart to here. So if I have this spot where I wanted to go, I can click Insert. You're going to see Chart. You can choose bar, column, line, pie. I can go from sheets, but in this case, I'm going to choose pie, and then I'll show you how to open up a sheet from here. So we have this pie graph that we have in here, but we want to edit it with the information that we need. So if I go to this one, and notice that if I drop down or click the ellipses here, I can open source. When I open the source, it opens up Google Sheets. Now I'll make a quick change to here. So in this case, team 4, you can see it's at 34.5%. I'm going to put a different number. So team 4 now is at 45. So I can also change, we'll say team 10, and you'll see how quickly we can change all of this. If I go back over to my Google Docs, to update this, I need to update this. These two are linked. So it's linked to the Google Sheets. And if I need to make any changes, I got to make sure I update this. So that's how you insert charts inside Google Docs. Now I want to show you how you can add links to your Google Docs. And these could be internal or external. Let's start with an external one. Let's say I want to add a link to this text right here. Once I have it highlighted, I can go up to here where it says Insert Link, choose it. I happen to have this page open right now. You can see one of my tabs, and that's why I could just select it and it would place it in here. Or else I could take any link from here, I could copy or Control C and go and just Control V, paste it in here, hit apply, and I have a link. So when I click on this now, it will take me to that actual place externally. You can also do this internally. You can remove these links, and I'll use this as an example. This is copy, this is edit the link, this is remove the link, and it will go away. If I wanted to, let's say this word, and I'm being random here, but if I take this and I go to link, notice at the bottom I can go to headings and bookmarks. Bookmarks I can quickly add by the insert, similar to what I did with the headings. But if I click on this, and let's say if I wanted to jump to this, origins and creations, this becomes an internal link inside the document. So if I click on it, it jumps right there. So you can really help people navigate around your document that way. So take advantage of using links. Another thing you might want in your document is to have headers or footers and page numbers. And you can do this in a couple different ways. If I go Insert, you'll notice that we have page numbers. I can quickly add a page number to this, and you can see if it's top right-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner. And if I click on it, it gets added very quickly. And when I did that, it actually opened up the footer. So if you notice, if I go to every page now, the page number is going to be there. I'm just going to go Control Z to undo that, and I'll show you a different way. If I double click towards the top inside, notice I have the header here, or if I go down below at the bottom of the page, I could double click here. This is where I could write something. So if it was my name, it becomes on every page in the footer where I place this. And if you wanted to add a page number also, you could do it the other way I showed you, or you'll notice that we have footer format, we have page numbers or remove footer. If I go page numbers, I can choose where I want this, let's say in the footer, whether I want to show first page or not. Where do I want it to start numbering? And then I can hit apply. So now, since I was over here, that's where the page number was put. If I just hit tab, if I go down, you'll see how it changes. But you can set this up the way you would like on all your different pages just by playing around with the footer and the format in it, or the header. An incredible important feature to know about is version history. This allows you to go back in time on your document. So if I go up to File, Version History, See Version History, it will show me when I worked on it and can click on those events. So if I say right here, if I go back a couple hours, I can expand this also. And as I click on different parts, you'll see what I did at that moment. So if I go to a different time, I choose to click on it and what gets added. At any time, if I want to revert to that one, I can click on the more actions and restore to this version. I can also make a copy. Right now, I'm the only one working on this document, but if I had this shared, it would show me the different edits that other people did. So I would know who's doing what or what got changed by who. Some tools you might be interested in. If you go up to the tools here, you'll notice that we have spelling and grammar. I have those turned on. Usually you can check them right here in the personal dictionary. We also have a word count. There is the shortcut for there. You can quickly get the information that you want. So another big thing about Google Docs is collaboration. I haven't talked about it much through it, but that's kind of what makes it so good. And if I wanted to be collaborating with a group, I can go and share this document. And if I go up to the top, notice it says private to only me. If I click share, I can do a few different things with this. I can add people. So if I started typing people up here, I can use a different email of mine and share it with that person. And then how do I want them to access it? Do I want them as an editor? This allows them to make editing changes to it, or do I only want them to see it? So they'll be able to read it, but they're not going to be able to change anything. And then do you want them to be a commenter? So you can make it so they can actually add comments to it. When you pick what you want, you go ahead and you could write a message here. You can even copy the link and send it through an email, that link, and they'll be able to access this. So you could hit send, and that person in their email would be able to open this up and work on it together with you. Another thing I want to point out, you can have comments. So if I go ahead and I'll just pick a word again, if I pick Marvel, notice that I have, if I have comments right here, add comments. I also have add comments up top here. So if I click on add comments, I can make a comment to myself. So maybe I'm not shared with anybody. I could go and say, change this. So I can make a note here and I could go comment. And then this is not showing up in the document, but maybe it's something I need to remember. And then when I'm done it, I can hit the check mark and it goes away. If you want to add the comment and aim it at somebody, just go ahead and use the @ symbol, and then you can it will connect with people that you'd want them to be notified from, so you can be assigning them to it. So that's a quick way. If you're working in group, you can make a comment and aim it directly at somebody by using the @ symbol and then the email address, and you can even assign it through here. So take advantage of all those different ways to collaborate.